is a pastoral origins of what we're presenting here today as far as Kintsugi resilience is concerned. Kintsugi is a borrowed word from the Japanese culture. They have this, if you haven't heard about Kintsugi, okay, it is an artwork of the Japanese when they happen to break their vessels, their vase, their plates. They don't just throw these away. They develop something that would put this back together, but not to hide the cracks. In fact, they would highlight the cracks as part of the story of the vessel or the vase, highlight them with platinum, with gold, or silver. And then they reuse it, reminding them of the story that this vase may be representing their own brokenness. It's a beautiful art. It is actually the same kind of thing when we hold space for someone as they try to navigate and understand who they are, how broken they are, and eventually discover that in every crack there is enough room for God's grace to shine and to put, as they put themselves back together. So this is very pastoral in nature. As a CPE supervisor since 2005, maybe that's about 20 years now, I had this experience of, I take pride in presenting myself serving as pastor to a small group of pastors as I ran my CPE program. Chaplains, whether coming from military background, from hospital setting, or parish pastors who come to our program. This is not just a training. This is a very important part of my ministry when I hold space for a group of 5 or 6 individuals who commit to tell their stories just by simply telling their stories. But these stories, they are not happening in a vacuum. These stories, you can hear confession. You can hear disillusionment, pain. You can hear devastating discouragements, all kinds of form of darkness in life. Something that they can't just share and express before their congregations or their patients or their staff, even sometimes their families. But here you are. Here I was, I was privileged to listen and to hear something that is sacred, something that can only be shared in a space where covenant exists. And this is happening in a CPE context, the CPE roots here. To me, CPE is not just a training program. It is a place where many pastors discover healing. So it is formational, there is restoration, it is highly theological, and you can discover some of the trauma in this experience. But here's the thing. Anton Boysen, the father of CPE, his best contribution is not the curriculum itself. His best contribution in CPE is finally creating a hole on the wall that divides psychology or science and religion. Even today, that wall exists. Chaplains, you just can't find your space. You just can't find your place in the government-regulated, especially in the U.S., government-regulated practice named psychologist or psychiatrist. So if you are using the word counseling, depending on a given state that you're in, you better make sure that you are abiding under the regulations, that the way the psycho practitioners franchised and sometimes colonized this practice that we almost feel strangers in that field. There is a big division. And people are saying, stay on your lane. And they said, your lane is on the spiritual side. Our lane is on the science side or the psychology side. But Anton Boysen, as early as 1920s, created a hole on this wall that separates science and religion. And if there is something that we could benefit from that, is this. If you get intimidated with some of the theories I'll be mentioning on the science side, forget about that. Our job is to widen or make the circle, the hole, bigger. The hole on this wall that divides science and religion. So yes, CPE is known to be psychodynamic. And then eventually I'm going to talk about the public healing. Because when we have healed ministers, then they can serve better and heal the community, right? But there's one thing that challenged me. I've seen transformation among pastors. Pastors who just quit. Pastors who couldn't understand why the church is so mean, is so toxic, that towards the end they realize they are the one contributing to the toxicity level of their church. I've seen transformation. But the question is, why can't we have this be available to the community? That has been my challenge for many, many years as a CP supervisor. And that's what I meant when finally I'm confident to say we can now take this to the next level because we found ways on how to open these doors and make the hole even bigger so that the community can benefit from what we do.